learned to write. I educated my mind, converted these prophecies to some hard-ass rhymes. Read the signs, come warning the fire and brimstone. Studying secrets, still keeping the chrome. Ready for combat in the midst of war. Good against evil, trying to even the score where these demons be seeking the upper hand. Snatching souls of black folks, women and men. Struggling in the world to raise these niggas and give them military minds and call them gorillas. From nigga to gorilla. That's how I do. That's how I do. They call my speech the raw truth on the streets. Platinum lines heavily laced with these platinum beats. Delivery gangster with the power to teach. Like a doomsday prophet when I start to preach. Open your mind and I'll touch your soul. Platinum back gorilla with a heart of gold. From nigga to gorilla, avoid the destruction. We lose black life for a little bit of nut. Make something of your life in this world of sin. No matter how bad it gets, shit come to an end. My friend, if I call you nigga, that means you still a slave, a blind motherfucker in search of an early grave. These streets is prayed with rich African blood, milk from slaves that was America's crutch. While these rotten ass sluts prostitute the truth. They only promote the corrupted to speak from the booth. From nigga to gorilla. That's how we get down. From nigga to gorilla. Transformation is what it's all about. It's about moving from being a victim to standing on your own, in your own power with motherfuckers that feel just like you. You don't submit your will to nobody. You either agree or you disagree. If you agree, you stand on that. If you disagree, you stand on that too. You know? You don't supposed to agree with everything that everybody bring to you, or else you would be a sorry mop. So yeah, my Zell scapegoats was actually correct on that. So I'm just like I got this one tagged with them sisters walking down to the ocean to wade in the water. There's a song, wade in the water. Wade in the water, people, wade. The old gospel song. That's what it's talking about. It's African in origin. There is a particular body of water that you need in 10-year increments. And you need at least 2 centenarians, women, to do it. You start at a girl under the age of 10, one between 10 and 20, all the way up to 120 years of age. So you're gonna end up with 12 women. And they gotta, all of them gotta come together, and they have to be in a particular place in South Africa. And when they get there, there's a particular body of water. It's called the Yoni of the Earth. It's the vagina of Mother Earth. And all 12 of these women have to do daily rituals until all women involved have that menstruate, has had a cycle in the water. And so I guess it's in the modern world, women hit menopause around 40. So that's like maybe 5 women that will have to go through the duration of their cycle. But the kicker is they're going to all sync anyway. They're going to all come on their cycle at the same time. But they all have to wade from the elder to the junior that haven't reached puberty yet, have to wade waist deep or deeper in the water. And they have to, you know, do this several times a day as a cleansing measure for the women that's menstruate. But they actually, what they're doing is from the menstrual cycle, they are feeding the womb of Mother Earth life. They're feeding the womb of Mother Earth life, and this is going to start to heal the deserts. And it's going to start to make it rain in dry places, and it's going to start to make forests return. Because Earth is losing her fertility because the women who used to perform the rite have all been annihilated by the oppressor. And all of the priests who you teach to rite, it's only one left, and and I can't say who it is because they'll kill him. But there's one that know how to teach this right because he know the history. And I have to have a high priestess request his assistance. I can't do it, right? I can't ask him because of my gender. It has to be orchestrated by a high priestess. There's a lot of them around. And here's the kicker. Who right? Christians, pagans, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists. They all right. All of them. But they're not all the way right. They all have some of the puzzle. And they all have some correct information. But no single source is going to give you all of the information you need to ascend. No single source. And we draw the parts that we're supposed to use from where they are. It's all there for a reason. Sahara used to be a plush forest, but they blew that collider up in the Mediterranean, and we had to cover in the crater by rerouting the Nile. Then they're going to tell you that the Nile gradually shifted from draining into the Sahara over thousands of years flow. Bullshit. You can use NASA's satellite imagery to see the damming work done to reroute the Nile. It's visible from the sky. It was such a huge project. Then the motherfucking Mediterranean started to leak into the underworld, or the people on the inner earth, Shambhala, Gartha. When it started to leak, what was the remedy? Blow Pompei. Blow that motherfucking volcano. Let the lava seal the hole. Now y'all know. Pompei was blown to patch a hole in the bottom of the Mediterranean that was leaking onto the inner earth. Only option was blow Pompei or drown out the inner earth. So they blew Pompei. Well, what about the people? They didn't give much fuck about the people as you do your German Shepherd. The people responsible for all this dirt see humans as less valuable than your dog, as less valuable than a rodent. The only use for a human is to perform manual labor. That's all they see you for, is a tool to get work done. You have no rights in their mind or their heart. You are not what they are, therefore you should not reap the benefit that they reap. And so when they blew Pompei, those were the Johnny-come-lately humans anyway. They were Greeks. And the Greeks already knew, so they got all of what they call their elect members out before Pompei blew. So they only left regular people like us that's on social media talking about the problems of the world, while you have other people out there undermining the world. So we sitting here discussing the matter. We armchair revolutionarying right now. Like all the more conscious Negroes. We doing the same shit they doing. The only difference is I just came out. I just started this journey. They've been doing this shit for 10 years and they found out it ain't gonna take me no 10 years to clean this shit up. You motherfuckers take 10 years to clean up some 3 days worth of shit. It don't take 3 days to clean this shit up. They got to be spaced out because you have to do them in increments. 3 things that need to be done. Soon as these 3 things is done, everybody stop and say, wait a minute, that's a bad motherfucker. Whatever he want, he gonna fix some shit, give it to him. So we allow a lot of shit to go on this planet that's over with now. As soon as y'all get your head out your ass and stop allowing these conscious motherfuckers to mislead you. The worst motherfuckers right now is the ones they call conscious. The second worst motherfuckers behind them is the one they call religious. The third worst motherfucker behind them is the ones they call educated. Your professors, your PhDs, your master's degrees, them motherfuckers. Them the three worst groups of motherfuckers in this, worse than the politicians. We already know politicians ain't shit. Ain't nothing but some motherfucking puppets to be bought and sold on the open market. No, Pompei was the city in Greece where a volcano blew and it covered everything in volcanic ash. But the reason that it wasn't a natural volcanic eruption. It was manufactured with science. The volcanic eruption was done by placing an explosive near the core of the lava bed. And the explosive being at the core of the lava bed, eventually the lava bed equitable exchange of goods and services. That's what money is. That's different from currency. Currency is like a die marker in the energy stream of the people, and it's just a fiat. It's just like if you put a die in a river to find out which one of the streams is collecting water from the river, you watch where the die go. This is why all of the banks are set up on what they call sigil points. The sigil points is the points of power between the vehicles of exchange, as in the markets, the auto market, the grocery market, the fast food market, the shopping centers. All of those are to capture energy at a particular point on the grid. The bank is the place that you go. It's called the bank based off the banks of the river, right? The banks of the river, when you coming out of the water, in other words, when you leave the current, you need to rest because you've been swimming for 2 hours, you go to the bank. The bank is where they rest the currency to determine how much they've captured in any geographical area. And it also tells them who's spending money, who's saving money, and who they need to get rid of, because now they figure out how to work the fractional reserve system to their advantage. That's the difference between money and currency. In Big Mama Bank, in the olden days, we use gold, silver, coal, what we call mineral wealth. Mineral wealth and is in order to supply the people that's giving us what's called gross domestic or gross national product, which consists of your food stocks and all of this stuff, right? So you needed a medium of exchange similar to an IOU, except the IOU is backed by a substance that's on reserve in the so-called bank, right? So the outlaws was robbing the banks in the West because the tribes in the West did their business so well that they couldn't usurp them using the traditional business strategy. So then they had to resort to what's called robbery on the high seas, which is in the land, when they're applying admiralty to land, the robbery on the high seas becomes robbery on the highway. The highway didn't used to be the road system. The highway used to be the river networks that the indigenous or the organic tribes, I don't like to say indigenous because that's confusing and native is confusing, but organic means you emerge from the land like a tree. Your bloodline been here so long, it's emerged from the land just like a tree. All right, so now when you separate currency and money, right, you had to marry two different banks together. So pull out $1, Elder. You got $1 on you?
Nah, my wallet in the truck. I left my wallet in the truck. Yeah.
Okay. Can you Google a picture of $1?
Yep. Oh, I can put it on my laptop. I think so. I wish I would have did this on the laptop. Yeah, but we just went live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't even worry about it. If you look on the dollar, this is all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that it's a contract.
Yeah.
And first, you got to know what a contract is. A con is a game of deception. A tract is a tract of land. The land that they deceiving is in the form of the physical organic being. He's a walking plot or lot of land. Go back to what Papa said. Free Malachi York, free Rashad Jamal, free Larry Hoover, free Angel Bay, free Imam Abu Jamal, free all political prisoners, unleash the chiefs on the land. I don't know where that just came from. I just had to say it.
Oh yeah, hit him.
Okay, so when they got these two banks on there, one of them is called the Federal Reserve Bank. And they have a contract with something called the United States Treasury. The contract has to always be visible to anybody participating in the contractual obligation between the two banks. Right? When did they break they gave us a clue, but I'm gonna see who's paying attention. When did they break the contract or conclude the business contract between the Federal Reserve and the United States Treasury? You know what the clue they gave was, right?
What was the clue?
Okay, if you had a river and you got to get from one side of the river to the other side of the river, you got several means to get across. Can you name them?
Swim. Get a boat.
You can go by boat. You can swim.
Shit. Build you a bridge.
Build you a bridge.
Yeah.
Go back. Okay, so who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?
One of the Nubian lady that wrote it, but they took it though, gave it to somebody else.
Listen, who get the credit?
It really. Hey, I remember you did a tape on that. It tied it to Farrakhan somewhere kind of way, like to Farrakhan wife or somebody.
That was the flag. That was the flag.
Okay, that was the flag.
Star Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Keys. Okay. You know, it ain't ringing no bells, is it?
No.
Now I'm finna ring the shit out your bell.
Okay.
Remember, the Francis Scott Keys Bridge got ran into by a barge and collapsed and exploded, but it was an illusion. It was a controlled demolition under the pretense of a barge smashing into the pylon of the bridge.
Man, that just happened too.
So that's when the two banks are no longer together. Why would you separate the Federal Reserve from the United States Treasury?
Yeah, hey, that's the next question. Go ahead, write that down.
The Federal Reserve is a foreign body politic.
Okay.
Doing business in an interim capacity, and they assume the financial responsibilities of the United States Treasury.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The United States Treasury was held hostage under the Civil War from the North.
Mm-hmm.
The original bank was the Bank of the South. It was the only operational, fully functional bank that was tied to all of the big mama banks all the way to what we call today Oregon and Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no banks in New York, Boston, Baltimore that was tied to the banks, the big mama banks, what we call the United States treasures,
Mm-hmm.
the treasures of the United States, which
Mm-hmm.
takes you to the movie of National Treasure with Nicolas Cage.
Right.
After he go on the scavenger hunt, then he find himself in an underground tunnel that goes from New York to Philadelphia to DC, and it's fully loaded with all kinds of treasure. Gold, jewelry, ancient stuff that's covered in dust because Big Mama Bank been locked down.
Right.
Right? Why was Big Mama Bank locked down? We was at war. Big Mama Bank does not function during war. This is a term that's been classified and appointed to an individual, but it don't have nothing to do with a man witch called a warlock.
Go ahead.
A warlock is Big Mama shutting her bank down during war so that nobody can steal the wealth of the collective. You can only take individual wealth. You cannot steal the wealth of the collective because it's not part of the war. It's not what they call booty or spoils of war.
Right.
Right. So now the current system is collapsing in real time. I was just telling you about the girl. Somebody sent me the video of the little girl who had the baby dolls and books targeting the melanated children, and they just liquidated her bank and never sent them a check because they said her address, they didn't leave their address on file, but their address is the header to the account.
Right.
All right. Now, the reason that is she gonna get all her money back with interest. First of all, I gotta tell y'all that out the gate. Everybody that the system is literally stealing from, if you don't get land back, you will have a proper compensation for the land that was removed from your family. This is why I keep telling everybody to learn family banking. If you don't learn family banking, then you're going to be the last ones in your family or in the families that's collective to get wealth back.
Hey,
You
so
won't
Roy,
be able. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so that brings the next question. Because people were asking about reparations and how are we gonna redistribute the wealth under Big Mama's rule? Are we gonna just line up and they hand out money or hand out some certificate and say, oh, here you go, you 100, here you go, you 100. Like how's the transition gonna happen? Because we know, and these are the questions that I got written down. We know that the government is going out of business, and it's a lot of people that depend on the government. It's a lot of people that depend on Social Security, disability, food stamps. You know, just that little extra they get from the government. They've been living on it for a while. Housing support for the people that only paying a certain amount of money. That's the next question. I got a whole bunch of questions dealing in this think tank, but how is the transition going to happen from the government shut down and then the support that we get from the government? Because we know that Donald Trump was in there. He was cutting back on food stamps. He was collecting money from people and shedding people off. So, like, how does that work? That's the first part of the question about the switchover.
Okay, during the transitional period, everybody that's getting Social Security, they cannot turn it off.
Okay.
Social Security is one of the few things that they can't turn off.
Okay.
Only it won't be nowhere to cash your check. Because all of the regular banks are under the Federal Reserve's jurisdictional authority, and it's lost to the Federal Reserve, to the tribes.
Damn.
Okay, now, for those people who want to know what Big Mama is going to have control of on the turnaround, you have about 25 years of executive orders to read. All of them is on average about a page long. They go all the way back to Bill Clinton in the mid-90s and come all the way up to the last one that was issued by Donald J. Trump. If you go to the national, if you go to the executive order web page of the government, it's a bar across the top that's telling you that that page is frozen time. I mean, they can't update it. I mean, the last executive order was the last executive order. If they told you Biden did an executive order, they lying.
Right.
Because he's not the president. Donald J is the wartime president. When he was elected originally, he wasn't elected under the Republic. The Republic was suspended with the 18th president. And then they put in interim presidents all the way up until Donald Trump pulled their card with the white hats. Okay. So what happens now, all of these people then being taken advantage of by a corrupted system, and we've been watching this system a minimum since JFK assassination. Right. This is what activated the white hats to be able to step in because of what was written by the founding fathers, not the ones they telling us about, but the Iroy Confederacy, which takes us to the Longhouse.
The Longhouse.
Under the Longhouse doctrine of the Confederate nations, that they had a certain amount of time to restore the government back, but instead of restoring it, they just kept stepping on us and taking more and stepping on us and taking more until they stretched from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Right now, what we about to see happen is Big Mama Bank. Under first thing you're gonna see us season, it's gonna be 3 key banks or businesses that the tribes seized a long time ago, but you haven't heard about it yet. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
Go ahead. Go break that
right now. Under Vanguard, you have a starving artist program that was founded by Tupac Amaru back in '92 with the financial and military strategic advice of his family. And y'all all know who his family is, Panthers. And they told him how to secure the artist's wealth without having to deal directly with the contracts, right? So what they was doing is an artist was saying, and they'd give him an advance. A percentage of the advance went into what's called the VMix account. The VMix account only trade in very key high return products like white diamonds, right? They won't deal in a lesser diamond than the top-notch, flawless white diamonds. This is to make sure that when the economy fall, they have substance. So all of these artists, Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, what's my man out of Chicago? King Von. All of their wealth is secured. And because of the way they investments ran, now they worth more than dead celebrity status was when they murdered them or murdered them on record. Many of them elected to go that route because they return would be so much greater in the aftermath of this war that's been taking place right under our noses for the last 6,000 years. Okay, so now everything gonna come when they tell you BlackRock fell, they lying. BlackRock can't fall because BlackRock is not part of the fiat system. But what they can do is they can tell you BlackRock fell under the fiat system, and then BlackRock turn around and rise up. But it's not what we think. It's not who we think. Don't none of the people they tell you run it or own it. Now, That's the same for Vanguard, and that's the same for State Street. And that's why they own each other's stock. That's a business strategy. Now, remember, I'm telling y'all this financial stuff, but this is not my area of specialty. Okay, now, when Big Mama Bank take over, the old system has to collapse.
Okay.
When the old system collapse, it's going to be what's called a grace period where people going to have to pay attention, or else they going to lose track of what's going on to get their family's wealth. A lot of us don't want to pay attention.
Okay.
We want to listen to guys like Rod Hayes, like Rashad Jamal, like Young Elder, like Phase One. They like to listen to us go on rants and tirades about being done wrong. It makes them feel good. It's almost like going to church. Where you go and you shout on Sunday to make it tolerable to do another week of slavery as a slave on the plantation called the plant or the workforce.
Damn, you going in. Go ahead.
Right. So now we come full circle. We at the gates of the great hurrah, the last motherfucking collapse. I was watching the retired military general out of Australia. I was trying to find the video because I wanted you to share it with the people. But it's on another app. The one Dr. Kia Pruitt used to be on. I can't even remember the name of it. Is it Discord?
Yeah, I think it's the name of it, Discord.
And maybe they put videos up like YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whatever it is, but he was going into all of this stuff I'm telling you, I've been saying for the last year and a half. And he said the same thing almost word for word, like he was quoting me. Yeah. But he's an insider. Right? He's part of the contingent of white hats that's operating in Australia, or what we call the Outback. It's not Australia, it's the Outback. It's the land of the Aboriginals, or the land of the people that was already there. Outback mean in the fields in the 9 city areas, but it's all still part of their territory. They can't take that from them. They blood ties and their ancestral ceremonial burial sites is still there. They tried to exhume our burial sites to move us off the land, but we got too many ancestors and they couldn't dig them up fast enough before the close of the age in the last 500 years to get them all. And all we need is one ancient ancestor still buried. And all you got to do is go to Jekyll Island, where we got those 8-foot tall